Tucker Carlson interviewed Vladimir Putin this month, and the progressive left, well, they went nuclear. You see the irony, right? We are repeatedly told that Putin is a monster, and yet it was the Western media who monstered Tucker. Tucker, they claimed, wasn't doing journalism by interviewing one of the most powerful men on planet Earth. A real journalist, you see, a real journalist, according to the leftist media, would refuse to interview the president of Russia, even though plenty of mainstream media journalists have previously interviewed Putin, such as Hadley Gamble from CNBC in 2021, Kerr Simmons from NBC News in 2021, Barbara Foxen-Barker for the Financial Times in 2019, Megyn Kelly for NBC News in 2018, Oliver Stone, the filmmaker, in 2017, Matthew Change for CNN in 2008, Mike Wallace for 60 Minutes in 2005. Now, I could go on and on, but you get the idea. Now, since when was real reporting done by refusing to report? Then again, mainstream media has made an art form of not reporting things that might contradict their preferred progressive leftist narrative. For example, CNN and MSNBC ignored completely the Hunter Biden laptop story for years before finally admitting that it was in fact real. They parroted that mRNA was 100% safe and effective before finally having to admit it that it wasn't. They lied about Trump being an agent of Russia when obviously he was not. They lied about Iraq having nuclear weapons when Iraq did not.
The decision of one man to launch a wholly unjustified and brutal invasion of of Ukraine. Iraq, anyway.
They said that Trump was going to start wars when in reality, he went on to end wars and sign the historic Abraham Accords. Now, once upon a time, such a thing would have won you a Nobel Peace Prize. But because Trump did it, not a word. Now, do the media really believe that we should not be interested in hearing from Putin, one of the most powerful and most important men on planet Earth? Do the media really have such little faith in the general public that they are afraid and we can't hear Putin speak, lest we suddenly become supporters of the Russian president? Did the media really insist that their job is to decide what we should hear and should think, rather than to impartially present us with both sides of a story and allow us to decide for ourselves? We have brains, we're not slaves, at least not yet. We have a major problem in the Western world, and it doesn't matter whether you're talking about England's BBC, Canada's CBC, or Australia's ABC. Defund the ABC. The mainstream media, especially our national broadcasters, act like it's their job to curate the news rather than report the news. Our newsrooms are now occupied by activist reporters, and our news feeds are dominated by propaganda. There is not a journalist worth his salt that wouldn't interview Vladimir Putin if offered the chance. Our elites, and sadly that includes our mainstream media, wrongly believe that talking to someone you don't agree with is dangerous. Now, it is precisely this idea that has created cancel culture. The left have so little faith in the strength of their own arguments and so little trust in the intelligence of the general population that they now believe the media exists to shield people from news rather than present the public with news. They believe their job is to create safe spaces where ideas are excluded, rather than to create debating chambers where ideas can be freely interrogated. Tucker didn't interview Putin because he is sympathetic to the Russian president. He interviewed Putin because he is curious about the world in which we live. He is curious, as we should all be, about what powerful men in positions of great power are thinking. The mainstream media was so angered by someone daring to exercise simple curiosity, tells us everything that you need to know about the current state of our world. The progressive left doesn't want you to be curious or to ask questions or to examine different points of view. The progressive left wants you to take their word, and only their word, as the gospel. And they are willing to persecute you if you don't. Which ironically makes a progressive left exactly like the dictators and tyrants that they claim to hate so much. The left is cancer. I'm Senator Rutherford for United Australia Party.